What is up, Fantasy Penta members? This is Mike at MAndrews93 DFS here to break down the LEC Friday and LCS Friday slates. Can't really get into most of these other slates. I could do LEC Saturday, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow to do that. I actually really do want to see how some of these teams play on Friday after a week of time to gel and scrim and practice together. Some of these disjointed looking teams, Vitality, look better. I will be much more likely to be playing them on Saturday. As it stands right now, I actually really like G2 as a slight underdog to Vitality on Saturday. But that could change depending on how Vitality look on Friday. As for the LCS, we only have the Friday slate to go with right now. The Saturday and Sunday slates will be posted after the quarterfinal matchups for the lock-in tournament are determined. As of right now, those are not determined, so I can't break them down because I don't know who is playing anyone else. And we don't really have odds, so it wouldn't really help to break down like what I think you could build on that slate. So without getting too much into the nitty-gritty, let's get into the LEC slate. I'm going to try to share my screen here and see if it works. Oh my God, this is a great platform, StreamYard. Shout out StreamYard. All right, so this is my makeshift spreadsheet for the LEC. Without too much, like, we can look at these numbers: combined kill per minute, goal differential 15, all that. But like, it's pretty much just going to tell you that these teams are either 3-0 or 0-3 or 2-1 or 1-2. They're not going to tell you too much more at this point. There's not really anywhere where you can go, okay, well, this team is, crushing the early game, but somehow letting it slip away in mid-game team fights. There's not really much that you can look at after 3 games to really go into deep. For example, like Mad Lions and SK played a crazy long game where SK came out ahead. SK won 29 to 29 to something, but they had 29 kills, right? Long game, 40 some minutes, crazy game. That's going to severely, well, it's Mad Lions only loss, so it's going to put their deaths per loss at an immense number, right? So obviously those kind of games are outliers and hard to predict for fantasy purposes, and they can't really tell you too much about what these teams actually want to be doing and whether they will be successful in doing it. I have the salary ranks there. Those were kind of my guesses. Positionally, it depends. Some positions, Broken Blade is priced higher than Alfari, for example. Caps is higher than Perks. Meanwhile, at 80 carry, we have Karzi higher than Flacked. So, and Targamas is like the 4th price support. So there's individual positional pricing going on here, but this is kind of my salary guess here on this column C. These odds I got yesterday, maybe they've changed, but they seem pretty much right on. So I'm going to start at the top, Misfits and Excel. I quite like Misfits in this spot. Excel hasn't really impressed at all. That said, Misfits has a 2-1 record. I have them, this power rank of opponent column on column O, I have based on, okay, what's the power ranking of the teams that these guys have played so far based on my preseason rankings? Because, okay, a team being 3-0 right now might not mean too much if their competition was bad, like Rogue. I'm not buying Rogue as like this crazy great team. They played 3 teams that I don't rate very well. Meanwhile, I don't think Astralis is going to be very good, but they did play very good teams. I don't think Vitality is going to be a bad team. They did play 3 very good teams. Like, I'm not putting too much stock into that. So that's why I'm looking at this power rank of opponent and thinking, okay, like this team might be 1-2 versus a team that's 3-0, but do I really think that there's this big of a gap between them? Let's kind of look deeper. So, who have you played so far? But as for Misfits and Excel, the odds kind of reflect that Excel might be closer to Misfits than the stats would indicate. Excel, despite being 1-2, does have a positive goal differential at 15 minutes, which is good to see. They haven't really played too many crazy games. I like Misfits here in the sense that they probably won't be heavily owned. I could see Excel being a pretty popular underdog. If I were to play Misfits, I don't think I would be stacking them as a main stack. If I did, it would be Vithio captain, and then probably out. Schlatten hasn't really impressed me so far. It's kind of Vithio is like clearly been the best player on their team for some time now. I'm not too interested in the rest of this team though. It would be Vithio captain. I probably would. Here it hasn't been great, and Finn has actually been playing carries, so there's a chance that Finn really pops off against Hear It. But yeah, it would be Vithio for me if you want to go here. But I really don't have that much interest in Misfits, so they're in this like orange tier where I don't really want to be playing them, but I did want to say that Vithio is very good. I could see XL being a popular underdog on a slate where there aren't too many attractive underdogs. Personally, I think this G2 SK line is way too close. I would put G2, honestly, maybe I would flip flop the Vitality, BDS, and G2 SK lines. So on a slate with not too many great underdogs, like SK looks like a better underdog than BDS, apparently, according to odds, but I don't agree with that. XL might get some traction as this kind of like Lois or first dog. I mean, Rogue Mad is kind of a coin flip, but like XL as sort of the first dog, the dog with the best shot, according to the odds, I think will get some love. If you do go to XL, I would be going with Finn and Patrick. Patrick is usually the carry that they go through when they succeed. He has looked very good and actually has been scoring pretty well in losses too. So I like Patrick a lot if you're going here. And then I think Finn makes for the best secondary option. He had a very good game on Jace against Vitality. And I want to say, played a good gangplank against G2 too. So if they're going to put Finn on these carries, I do really like Finn. Nuke Duck, not for me. So XL I actually like as a secondary stack. Oh, and Advn also, if you want to play Patrick and Advn together, that makes a lot of sense. And then if you wanted to play Finn and Patrick as a skinny stack, that makes a lot of sense too. But I don't know how much I would be jamming like a 4-man XL stack. I just don't really love the potential for Nuke Duck. But yeah, you could definitely do Patrick Captain with either Marcoon or Nuke Duck, and then I would definitely have Finn and Advian in there as well. Moving on to the next matchup, Fnatic and Astralis. Fnatic, the biggest favorite on the slate. They are 3-0. Astralis, dumpster team. I had Fnatic as my top-ranked team in my preview, and Astralis as my 10th-ranked team in the preview. So that says a lot about this matchup. Fnatic's early game hasn't been great, but they've been finding ways to win games. That said, they have not been overly bloody so far, and Astralis hasn't been involved in many overly bloody games. So I'm not going out of my way to jam Fnatic here, and I definitely don't want to play Astralis as a dog. The only way I do get to Fnatic is if, for example, it fits with one of these other underdogs, like if I play BDS in Fnatic or if I play XL in Fnatic. I think that is a worthwhile shot. Astralis, no interest. As for this next game, G2 and SK, I love G2 in this spot. G2 and SK have been two of the bloodier teams so far, albeit the caveat for SK that they had that crazy game with Mad Lions. But that wasn't a long drawn out snoozer. That was a pretty fun, active game. So, but I have G2 with third highest goal differential at 15 and SK with the second worst goal differential at 15. G2 with a pretty middle of the pack gold per minute, SK with the second worst gold per minute. I basically just have G2 smashing them in every key stat that I'm looking at. Yeah, sure, SK has played the toughest strength of schedule in the league so far. They have admittedly played. Let me look at here. They've played Fnatic, Mad, and Rogue, which are three very good teams. So to come away 1-2 is actually pretty impressive. They could have came out of that 0-3, but to come out of come out 1-2 is honestly a win for them, based on where I had them in the power rankings. So I really like G2 in this spot. I think G2 is just the better team. I think G2 can do what they want here. I like G2 in all formats. It's really hard to fit Fnatic in cash with anything resembling a decent favorite and a decent lineup this week. Like, I don't really love playing Misfits in cash here, so I don't think I'm going to be doing that. And I don't really want to go near the Rogue Mad matchup in cash because I think that's pretty coin flippy. And Fnatic doesn't really work. So G2 is going to be my cash main stack this week. I think they should be a bigger favorite, and all the stats point in them to them having a pretty good performance. As for Vitality, minus 310 against BDS, plus 225. Vitality 0-3. Obviously, there are reasons to be concerned about this team. Mainly being that they just don't look like they know what the hell they're trying to do in team fights. They look very confused, lost, whatever you want to describe it as. They don't look cohesive right now. I don't know what Perks is up to, just not really doing what he needs to be doing. Self-made. There were times in their most recent game where Self-made would just go in and the team was like not nearby. Like, there's clearly something disjointed right now with them. I mean, obviously it's the fact that they're 5 new players playing together, which is a problem, but you'd still like to have seen them be able to pull out wins against some of these not so great teams that they played. I had them power ranked higher than them, so you would want them to be beating XL. Mad and Fnatic, those two losses those are you get a pass on those. The XL matchup, though, that I do not give you a pass on. That is not what you want to see. But I think they bounce back here. BDS has not been overly impressive. I think X Maddie is a pretty bad AD carry. Nuclear Int has actually, I want to say, been their most impressive player, along with Synchroff. Adam, we know what we're going to get out of Adam from his time on Fnatic. But Vitality would be the second leg of my sort of skinny, or the skinny stack to go along with G2 and cash games for me. I think the best way to do it is with Broken Blade Captain. Just because at most other positions other than top lane, Vitality is actually priced higher than G2, but it's flip-flopped at top lane. So you can play Broken Blade Captain with the big G2 stack and then play Alfari, and then you can find another Vitality spot somewhere in that lineup. I'm not going to give it all away. But Vitality overall in this slate against BDS, I am interested. I have interest in Fnatic, G2, and Vitality. Like, they all look like they're in pretty good spots. For me, I lean G2 first, Vitality probably third, Fnatic second. But I could see Vitality getting into a bloodbath with this team if they do play a close, drawn-out, skirmishy style game, more so than I do with Fnatic and Astralis. I think Fnatic has the better chance to have a cleaner win. So Vitality and Fnatic are kind of toss-ups for me, but I still like G2 as my favorite team to stack on this slate. BDS, I think, does have merit to stack. However, I am worried that they will be very popular because people will see that Fnatic is 0-3 and BDS is only 1 and 2. BDS also played a pretty good strength of schedule so far. So um, I think BDS does have some merit as an underdog stack. And I think if they win, they probably score pretty well. We saw XL score decently well against Vitality with Patrick with a 32.5. Nuke Duck did nothing as he typically does. Maybe I was wrong. Patrick and Finn just like hard carried that game. So BDS, I think it's hard to get behind them as a full stack, but I could see them being like the 3-player stack you fit in with a Fnatic or a G2. As for Rogue and Mad, this is a very close matchup, but I lean with the Mad Lions here. Rogue, I think, is a little bit of smoke and mirrors with their 3-0 record. They basically played nobody. They played Astralis, Misfits, and SK. 3 bad teams. They didn't really put up any great numbers in those, to be perfectly honest, with basically only Larson and Larson and Comp scored well. Comp scored very well in their wins. Maorang, Odo, and Trimby also scored pretty well. So it's their carries that have been scoring well. They haven't really had carries from the jungle or top lane. Odo's never going to be a guy that's going to carry for you. So if I do go here on Rogue, I think Rogue has a chance to win, obviously. The odds are pretty much toss-up. Matt is a slight favorite, minus 130. I would go with Comp and Larson or Comp and Trimby as a skinny stack with the Rogue team slot. As for Mad Lions, I think Mad Lions makes sense as a full team stack here. They are the slight favorite. Their stats are better. They've had the harder strength of schedule. And yeah, they look a little bit better than Rogue, even against these better teams that they've played. It's really impressive what they've done so far, with sort of a new carry lineup with the same team of Arma and Elyoya around them. But Elyoya has been so good. This guy is like week 1. I want to say MVP, even though they only went 2-1. Reeker has looked pretty good. Unforgiven also has looked pretty good. I would have Unforgiven as probably the leader if I'm stacking this team. Reeker and Elyoya second, kind of tied there. But if it lets you do a double favorite lineup, I really don't mind stacking Elyoya as a captain play. Jungle captain is underrated when you have a jungler. And then after that, it's Kaiser. Arma to me is kind of the odd man out here. Arma or Kaiser, I think, goes in the stack. I don't like really playing both. I think you sacrifice too much upside at the other positions. But that's where I'm at for that Friday slate. In the LEC, I don't really like Rogue or Mad and Cash either. And for the LCS, this is the only slate we have so far. But we have Dig versus CLG. CLG minus 120, Dig minus 110. This is a pick'em. I really like CLG in this spot. I think they have come together as they're showing some of the upside that a lot of people think that they do have this year. Dig is, they pulled out a win against Immortals, but Immortals 0-3 right now in the tournament. No bueno. CLG, actually, Immortals is 0-3. CLG 1-2, also with a win against Immortals, but their other 2 losses were TL and EG. So hard to hold that against them too much. I do like CLG in this spot. I think with River should be in for Dig tomorrow. I'm going to double check that. I was under the impression that he would be back this weekend. I believe XU is back on the academy team, and I think actually played academy for them today. But I think CLG makes a lot of sense here. CLG has been a pretty high combined kill per minute team so far this tournament. I would be playing probably a Luger captain if I go to CLG, and then probably leaving Jenkins as the odd man out. First, 100 Thieves, we have 100 Thieves minus 185, C9 plus 140. I would assume that Someday plays in this match just because this is a rivalry matchup against C9, and 100 Thieves will want to lay the hammer down. This matchup, though, for fantasy, not super intriguing to me. I would and based out of what we've seen so far out of 100 Thieves, I would not be having 100 Thieves as a priority. I wouldn't really have C9 as a priority either on this slate. Their numbers look good, C9, but they're 3-0. 100 Thieves is 2-1. C9, I think, does make a lot of sense here as an underdog. Sven has put up great numbers for them. Fudge has also put up great numbers for them. So is Bladder. Darshan and Isles, I would lean Isles there. Try to find a better carry top for one of these other teams in your skinny stack to go along with this stack. Darshan not really sticking out as someone who has been playing high upside champions. So yeah, I lean with the 100 Thieves side of this game in terms of winner. In terms of fantasy upside, I like C9 a bit more. And if you're playing 100 Thieves, I kind of like them as a skinny stack, maybe FBI and closer. Abadage has been somewhat absent so far. And Huhi and Someday aren't really guys that you're looking for big scores typically. Someday not a carry player. TL versus Immortals. TL minus 385, Immortals plus 265. I really like TL in this spot. Immortals, this roster looks pretty doomed right now. They just haven't shown me anything. Power of Evil, not really going to hard carry a lot of games for you. And Wild Turtle, also not going to really hard carry a lot of games for you at this point in his career. So this is a tough scene. Immortals was actually they were kind of one of the mid to higher respectable favorites coming in here with what is their actual roster, and to lose to Dig, who was one of the dumpster teams in this tournament, and to also lose to CLG, that is a red flag. And then they also lost to EG, so they are 0-3 right now. That can't feel good. I will be all over the TL side of this game. The only issue is how do you attack it, especially given that their bot lane is up in the air. So I'm going to be doing some digging tonight to figure out what is going on with their bot lane, who might be playing tomorrow, if anything has been decided. And I will be posting it in the Discord if I find anything. As of right now, though, I don't really have too much to go off of. My thought would be that they do the same rotation as last week, where they do Hansama for 2 games, and then Hansama and I think Ayla. Yeah, Hans and Ayla, and then Core and Yeon were the other 2. So I would lean Hans and Ayla to start, but there's no guarantee. Well, actually, on a 1-game slate, all you need to do is get the one game starter. So whoever it is, we'll try to figure that out. And unfortunately, they're not the first game this week, so I will not be able to see on the broadcast who they have starting. That's a problem. But I think it will probably be Hans and Ayla. Something having his visa issue extended. So or he would be playing Academy. I forget what it was, but I read something about Core, so I have to go find what that was and put it in our Discord. But overall, I think I don't really care who's in the bot lane. TL wins this game. TSM Academy, asterisk, not the normal roster, against Golden Guardians Academy. This banger matchup here. We've got Coach 6A at 80 carry for Golden Guardians. You love to see it. but these teams have not been overly impressive, which is pretty much what you'd expect out of them. TSM Academy did pull off a win over FlyQuest main roster, which is a tough scene for FlyQuest, but they dropped games to C9 and 100 Thieves, as would be expected. Golden Guardians Academy is 0-3, losing to FlyQuest, 100 Thieves, and C9. That is all not ideal. Expected. This TSM Academy team has played pretty slow and methodical. They haven't really been overly impressive in terms of their basically with only instinct and basically they're good, but they were absolutely shut out in the C9 and 100 Thieves games, which you'd expect. Against Golden Guardians Academy, I expect them to have more success. I don't expect either of these teams to be overly popular just because people don't associate name value with really any of these guys. I think there's some merit to playing both sides of this matchup. I lean the TSM side just because I think they have a better overall talent pool on their roster, and they have looked a little bit better. Just to beat FlyQuest while Golden Guardians Academy got stomped out by FlyQuest makes me a little bit lean toward the TSM side of this. So I do like the TSM side. I will be going there at some places in this tournament or on this slate. I don't really have too much interest in the Yursan support play for TSM, so I would probably be looking elsewhere if I'm going to TSM. I would probably be four-manning the top jungle, mid, and AD carry on their team, or I would be playing them as a skinny stack with a TL, 100 Thieves, a C9, one of these other, or CLG, one of these other teams. So you can see what fits. These salaries are out. As for cash games on this slate, it's hard not to just play the odds and go with 100 Thieves and TL. That said, I'm not really sure what you can build with that combination right now. You might need to be playing Hansama and yeah, you might need to be some and well, Ayla and Huhi are the same price. So, but Hansama is cheaper than FBI. Nope, they're the same price. Okay, well, you could play Abadag is cheaper than Bjerg. Closer is cheaper than Santorin and a way better fantasy score. And yeah, basically you want Someday to be starting, right? If you want to make that work in any capacity, because Someday is only 6,200 and Bwipo is 6,600. So you'd be playing Someday over Bwipo in that case and trying to make something work. So that is all I have for this Friday slate. I will be recording something for the LEC and LCS Saturday slates tomorrow. As of right now, we don't know what the LCS Saturday matchups are going to be, so I can't record anything for that. And I figured I would just make both slates for the same day in the same video. So good luck tonight, LPL, LCK. It's another pretty good slate. We have some good matchups with Nongshim and KT Rolster. I think Nongshim should be a bigger favorite there if I'm speculating on that at all. And we got some good LPL matchups as well. So best of luck and hope you win some money that you can carry over into this Friday double slate action. So peace.